Welcome back to English Podcast course. Today, we'll practice fun English conversations for.
So I had this thought the other day, why is asking someone for coffee suddenly such a nerve-wracking move? I mean, it's just coffee, but it feels loaded somehow.
Honestly, I get jittery just thinking about it. There's something about the simplicity of, "Are you free for coffee?" that makes it both charming and terrifying. The stakes feel weirdly high, even if it's supposed to be casual.
Exactly. You'd think we were pitching a business merger, not a cappuccino date. Maybe it's all the hidden meaning people assign to that one question.
And yet, as awkward as it feels, it's still the go-to. I guess because it's just open enough that if it goes south, you can always pretend it was about the caffeine, not the company.
Thinking about it, coffee has really become the unofficial first date activity. Like, no one's saying, "Are you free for a 5-course dinner?" right off the bat.
That would be intense. Coffee is this perfect middle ground. It's not too long, not too short. And if it's going horribly, you can finish your drink and sneak out in under 30 minutes.
Plus, there's no pressure to dress up or bring flowers. Just jeans and maybe a strong deodorant. It's the least risky way to suss out chemistry, right?
Totally, though, I have to say, there's always this tiny hope that a coffee turns into an impromptu walk or even brunch. Like, best case scenario, caffeine isn't the only thing sparking energy.
Funny you mention that, because I've noticed people really overthink the "are you free" part. Like, does it sound desperate? Too casual?
What cracks me up is how much time we spend analyzing those 4 words. I've had friends ask me to proofread their coffee invites like they're submitting a thesis.
That's so true. I've literally seen someone type, delete, and retype. "Are you free for coffee?" 5 times. Then settle on, "no worries if not," at the end, just to soften the blow.
It's almost like the fear of rejection turns us all into amateur psychologists. What subtext am I accidentally sending with this emoji?
Last week we got stuck on this at work. Someone sent a coffee invite, and the reply was just, "Sorry, super slammed right now." The room was divided. Was that a gentle no or an honest schedule clash?
Oh, the classic calendar dodge. I've been on both ends of that. Sometimes it's real, but let's be honest. Sometimes it's a polite way out. Then you overanalyze whether to follow up or let it die quietly.
And then there's the brave soul who follows up a week later with, "Any chance your schedule's cleared?" That's real optimism, or maybe just a love for espresso.
Or maybe both. There's a fine line between persistence and pestering, but I think if you're light about it, most people appreciate the effort.
All this talk makes me wonder, why did coffee become the universal code for "let's hang out"? What is it about a simple cup that makes everyone feel comfortable?
I think it's because coffee is so unassuming. You're not locked in for hours. There's no expectation, except maybe a decent conversation. And if it goes well, you can always order a second round and keep chatting.
That's so true. Also, coffee shops are the great levelers. Nobody feels too fancy or too casual when you're both holding identical mugs. There's a shared ritual in there somewhere.
Absolutely, and there's that subtle promise. If the company's good, caffeine is just the beginning. If not, at least you got a latte out of the deal.
Before we dive into how the meeting turned out, I've got to admit I was practically vibrating with nerves that morning. My coffee-to-water ratio was a bit questionable. Let's just say that.
I totally get that. There's always that last-minute scramble, right? I once spilled coffee on my notes 5 minutes before a big pitch talk about a caffeine disaster.
Oh man, been there. I kept checking my slides like they were going to rewrite themselves. The anticipation almost felt worse than the actual thing.
It's wild how our minds spiral like, will I forget my own name when they call on me? But sometimes that nervous energy is just what you need to get in the zone.
When the meeting finally started, my heart was racing. But once everyone exchanged those awkward hellos, I weirdly settled in.
That's the magic moment, huh? The ice finally melts, and suddenly you're not worried about flubbing your intro. The first laugh from the group can be such a game changer.
You know, Lisa cracked that joke about her cat Zoom bombing her calls, and everyone relaxed. That tiny spark made the whole vibe lighter.
Exactly. It's like once a little humanity sneaks in, people open up. I even found myself smiling without realizing it.
Midway through, I noticed everyone was actually chiming in people, tossing out ideas, riffing off each other. It felt like a real team for once.
I love when that happens. Brainstorming sessions can either be a snooze fest or explode with energy. Yesterday, it was totally the second kind.
Yeah, even the usual quiet folks had opinions. I actually learned that Mark has a secret knack for finding creative workarounds.
That surprised me too. Sometimes giving people space or just the right nudge unlocks these hidden talents. It made the meeting so much more dynamic.
What surprised me most is how we handled the sticky points. When the budget hiccup came up, nobody panicked. Instead, it turned into, okay, what can we do with what we have?
That was refreshing. I've sat in meetings where a roadblock just derails everything. But this time, people actually brainstormed solutions and fast. Maybe we're finally getting the hang of this.
It did feel like a level up moment. I remember last quarter when budget talk meant an awkward silence and staring at our shoes.
Now it's almost like we expect hiccups and treat them as puzzles, not problems. Makes coming to these meetings way less stressful, honestly.
When it wrapped up, I was genuinely surprised by how upbeat everyone seemed. There was actual applause, and not the sarcastic kind.
Yeah, I caught myself grinning at the screen. Even the follow-up emails felt lighter. It's amazing how a single good meeting can reset your mood for the whole week.
Absolutely, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. Who knew we'd come out of a meeting not just unscathed, but actually energized?
If we can bottle that vibe and repeat it, Mondays might just become my favorite day, or at least a close second to Friday.
Whenever I think about daytime TV, The Ellen Show is always the first one that pops into my head. There's just something about Ellen's energy. It's so infectious, you know?
I totally get that. The way she danced through the audience at the start of every episode made you feel like you were at the world's happiest party minus the awkward small talk, and plus a ton of confetti.
And her interviews. She somehow managed to make even the most guarded celebrities spill their secrets, or, at the very least, break into uncontrollable laughter. It's like she had a superpower.
Honestly, I think people let their guard down because Ellen just radiates this goofy, genuine kindness. Well, most of the time anyway. That actually leads me to something I've always wondered.
Are there any celebrity moments from the show that you still think about? I mean, there are so many, but some are just legendary.
Jennifer Aniston playing Never Have I Ever with Ellen and Justin Bieber is forever burned into my brain. That game brought out the most hilarious confessions, and everyone looked so genuinely surprised.
Oh, and let's not forget when Ellen scared the living daylights out of Taylor Swift with someone popping out of a box. Taylor's reaction was priceless. It became a meme before memes were even a thing.
That's the beauty of it. Ellen just loved catching people off guard, whether it was scaring celebrities or giving out those wild Oprah-level prizes to people in the audience. Speaking of surprises, remember her hidden camera bits?
Those hidden camera pranks were something else. She'd send her staff, or sometimes even unsuspecting audience members, into the wildest situations.
One that cracks me up every time is when she had people working at retail stores say the most ridiculous things to customers through an earpiece. The secondhand embarrassment was so real, but you couldn't look away.
It's almost like Ellen thrived on making awkwardness entertaining. The way she'd just giggle watching her own staff squirm. She honestly looked like a mischievous kid with a new toy.
And the audience absolutely ate it up. I feel like those pranks became a signature part of the show's DNA. But it wasn't all jokes. She also had a knack for heartwarming moments, right?
Absolutely. Ellen's big giveaways and heartfelt stories really set her show apart. I always got choked up when she'd help out families or surprise someone who'd gone through something tough.
Those moments hit me hard too, like when she gifted a struggling teacher thousands of dollars, or when she reunited families there was barely a dry eye in the house. even among the crew.
It's wild to think how one show could make you laugh until you snort in one segment and then cry happy tears the next. Ellen knew how to keep people guessing, that's for sure.
For sure, the mix of humor and genuine kindness kept people coming back. Though, I have to say, the show wasn't without its bumps in the road.
Yeah, it's hard not to mention the controversies that came out toward the end. It kind of changed the way people saw the show, at least for a while.
There was definitely a shift in how people talked about Ellen and her team, lots of tough conversations about workplace culture. Still, you can't ignore the mark the show made on pop culture.
Totally. Even with the ups and downs, The Ellen Show shaped the way we think about daytime TV. From viral moments to real acts of kindness, it's left a pretty wild legacy.
And honestly, I sometimes rewatch old clips just for a dose of feel-good chaos. You never really knew what you were going to get, and that unpredictability made it iconic.
Every time I see the forecast call for sunshine, all I can think about is packing a bag and heading straight to the beach. There's just something magical about a beach day when the sun's out, don't you think?
Totally. The way the sunlight sparkles on the water and you get that warm sand between your toes, there's nothing like it. It's like for a few hours, your whole life can slow down.
That's exactly it. Even the simple stuff like the sound of the waves feels better when it's super sunny. I don't know why, but cloudy beach days just don't hit the same.
Cloudy days have their own vibe, sure. But for me, a real beach day means you're slathering on sunscreen and squinting at the horizon. Plus, those sunny days just make people happier. You can see it on everyone's faces out there.
So let's talk packing. Every time I go, I swear my beach bag gets heavier. What do you absolutely have to bring for a sunny day at the shore?
Honestly, I'm a creature of habit. Big floppy hat, way too much sunscreen, and that one beach towel I refuse to replace. Oh, and at least 2 bottles of water because I always underestimate how thirsty I'll get.
Hydration is a big one for me too, but I'm also that person who overpacks snacks. Last time, I brought so many granola bars I could have fed half the beach.
That's actually brilliant. I always end up mooching off someone else's chips. Next time, I'm copying your strategy and packing a snack stash for survival and maybe just a little for sharing.
After setting up, do you have any routines? I do this thing where I have to walk along the water before I sit down, even if my stuff's not unpacked yet.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I basically wrestle with the umbrella for a solid 10 minutes first. It's always a comedy show trying to get it anchored before a gust of wind takes it into the ocean.
I swear those umbrellas have it out for us. But after that, there's nothing like just basking in that sunlight, lazily people watching, or maybe reading if I'm feeling ambitious.
Reading at the beach sounds idyllic, but I always get distracted kids building sandcastles, someone flying a kite, or the ice cream truck making a surprise appearance. It's like free entertainment all afternoon.
What gets me are the little surprises like when dolphins suddenly show up offshore, or you stumble across a perfect seashell in the sand. It feels like the sun brings out all the good stuff.
I'm with you. The wildlife is always cooler on bright days. Plus, there's that buzz from everyone being outside, playing beach volleyball or just laughing way too loud. It's contagious.
Totally contagious. Last summer, a total stranger invited me into a beach soccer game, and by the end, we were all sunburned but best friends for the afternoon. That just doesn't happen on gloomy days.
It's like the sun gives everyone permission to be a little more open, a little more ready for adventure. I love that energy. You never know what kind of story you'll leave with.
Now I'm craving a beach day, even though it's raining where I am. Do you ever try to recreate that sunny vibe when you're stuck at home?
All the time! I'll blast that endless summer playlist, maybe make a smoothie and just pretend my living room is a little cabana. It definitely helps with the winter blues.
I love that idea. Sometimes I even light a candle that smells like coconut just for the nostalgia. It's not the same as the real thing, but for a minute, it's like a mini vacation.
Honestly, whatever tricks our brains into feeling those sunny vibes is worth it. Until the next real beach day, it's all about bringing that easy, sun-soaked feeling into the everyday wherever we are.
You know, when I think late-night talk shows, Most of them kind of blend together. But the Graham Norton show? It's like someone injected color and confetti into the whole genre.
I totally get that. There's just something about Graham's set bright, a bit chaotic, and those infamous red chairs. It feels more like a party than an interview, honestly.
Right. And the way he has all his guests on the couch at the same time? That's so different from the usual one-at-a-time format. It leads to the funniest, weirdest interactions.
That's the magic, isn't it? You end up with A-list actors giggling with comedians and pop stars, all poking fun at each other. It's almost like you're eavesdropping on a wild celebrity dinner party.
Speaking of dinner parties, Graham's hosting style is so mischievous. He's cheeky, but never mean. I feel like guests let their guard down because he makes them forget they're on TV.
That's exactly it. He'll throw in a hilarious, slightly risky question, but somehow it lands like a playful jab rather than a roast. Everyone just laughs and goes with it.
And then there are times he just sits back and lets the guests riff with each other. It's almost like he's instigating mischief, then letting it unfold.
Honestly, I think most hosts would try to keep things on track, but Graham seems to love the chaos, and somehow it works. Guests open up with the quirkiest stories.
That actually reminds me of those red chair stories at the end of each episode. Absolute genius. Who decided audience members should risk public humiliation for a laugh?
It's so unpredictable. Sometimes people tell these utterly bizarre tales, and you can see the guests just losing it. When Graham flips the chair, though, total crowd favorite moment.
I'd be terrified to sit in that seat. There's always that suspense. Will they make it through the story or get the dramatic dump?
Even the celebrities seem invested. I remember once Tom Hanks actually begged Graham to let someone finish. It's like everyone's in on the game, no matter how famous you are.
You know, some of the wildest moments come when the guests totally lose it together. Like, I can't forget the time Miriam Margolyes just started telling those off-the-wall stories Graham could barely keep it together.
Miriam is in a league of her own. But it's not just her. Remember when Chris Pratt tried to do magic tricks? Or when Will Smith got everyone up for an impromptu rap? Sometimes it feels like anything could happen.
I live for those episodes where the guests bounce off each other and the whole show goes off the rails. It's like live improv with $1 million set.
Even the awkwardness is charming. When things get weird, Graham just laughs along and somehow turns it into TV gold. There's never a dull moment, even when things go sideways.
Funny you mention camaraderie. It feels like the Graham Norton show is the only place where celebs genuinely seem to enjoy hanging out with each other, not just promoting something.
You can tell when they're relaxed, sharing silly stories or poking fun at themselves. The whole vibe feels more like a reunion than a press tour. That's probably why fans keep coming back.
Exactly. It's the rare talk show where you see genuine reaction stars fangirling over each other or just being total goofballs. That sense of fun is contagious.
It's almost like Graham's created a safe space for celebrities to be real, awkward, hilarious, or just plain human. That's why the show's lasted so long, and why it's still must-watch TV.
You know, every time I flip on late-night TV, Jimmy Fallon seems to be up to something new. Remember when he first took over The Tonight Show? People were honestly a bit skeptical he'd fill those shoes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're stepping into a spot that's basically TV royalty. Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, and suddenly here comes Jimmy, the guy who used to break character on SNL every other skit.
Exactly. And instead of trying to be a clone of the legends before him, he just leaned hard into his own goofy, musical superfan energy. I think that's what won folks over.
That playful style was such a switch-up. He brought this whole vibe that late night could actually just be fun and unpredictable again. And honestly, I think people were craving that change.
Speaking of unpredictable, those games he plays with celebrities are wild. Like, 1 minute you're expecting a normal interview, next thing you know, Tom Hanks is playing Box of Lies.
That's what cracks me up. For years, talk shows meant the same old Q&A, but Jimmy's out here doing lip sync battles and making everyone do Wheel of Musical impressions. It feels like he's just inviting people to mess around at a really fancy sleepover.
And the best part? Those segments are tailor-made for the internet. I can't count how many times I've watched one of his games or musical duets go viral the very next day.
You know, my aunt who never stays up past 10 sees those clips on social media. That's the secret sauce he made late-night fun for people who don't even watch late night.
That actually reminds me, have you noticed how relaxed his guests seem? It's almost like they're just hanging out with a friend, not doing a press tour.
And that's such a rare vibe on TV. I saw Paul Rudd on there once, and halfway through, they were just giggling about inside jokes. You can tell celebs trust Jimmy not to ambush them with gotcha questions.
It's like he's everyone's super enthusiastic buddy. Even the most serious actors end up acting goofy, just because Fallon's energy is infectious.
Plus, I think the guests love knowing they'll walk away with a weird memory or at least a meme. Where else is Nicole Kidman going to play Egg Russian Roulette on TV?
Funny you bring up music earlier, because Jimmy's musical comedy bits are legit. I mean, the guy can impersonate just about anyone. That History of Rap with Justin Timberlake? Legendary.
What really gets me is he's not just goofing around, he's musically talented. It's almost unfair. And the musical parodies? They're so spot on. I've had friends send me Fallon clips thinking they were the real deal.
You can tell it's a passion for him, not just a gimmick. I feel like that authenticity is what pulls people in. You're laughing, but you're also impressed.
Exactly. There's this sense that Fallon is just geeking out with the audience. It's one of those things that makes the show feel like a party you want to crash.
After all these years, it's wild to think how much The Tonight Show's changed with Fallon at the helm. He's made it this cultural hub, not just a late-night ritual for insomniacs.
Totally. And what strikes me is how much other shows have tried to borrow from his playbook more games, more music, more viral moments. He really raised the bar for everyone.
I'm curious where it'll go from here. With streaming and TikTok and everything, do you think Fallon's formula will keep evolving too, or have we hit peak late night?
If anyone's going to pivot again, it's Jimmy. He seems to thrive on shaking things up, so I wouldn't be shocked if The Tonight Show is still reinventing itself for another decade.
Thanks you and see you next time.